What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Enjoy some time with some friends, some time with some family. Enjoy maybe a little football, whatever you guys got yourself into. Just hopefully wasn't trouble. We are back. We got another week ahead of us. Let me do a new share. Let's see. We got some interesting looking moves pre-market, and we will see. We got a little bit of a gap in the SPY itself. Where's my pre-market? Interesting. There we go. Different time frames. Matt says, I was released late last night, but I'm here from the penitentiary. It's nice for you to get on out. I'm sure that helped with bail for you. But we are here. We got Albert in the house. We got Bill. Good morning. We got Kale. Cedric's in the house. Dallas. Doug. We got Eric. Fayaz. Jenny's with us. GW. Good morning. We got Jay Linder. We got Joel. JT. Kevin. Of course, my boy Matt. Quantran. Sam, we got Sylvan, Tony, we got the squadron in the house. It's gonna be fun. So on this gap up, I mean, let's go back to the weekly candle for the SPY. We gotta take that step. If we start breaking out, I think above 364 at any time, we should have some room. Otherwise, we might still be in this probably a little bit of a prolonged sideways trade action. This is a high wave on the weekly. Usually after we see high waves, you typically chop around for a little bit. So is it possible? I mean, again, we are gapping up. Nothing really is corrected with, I think, anything in terms of fundamentals, the economy as a whole, if not, probably getting slightly worse. We will see, but this is a high wave. The one thing to note on this high wave, though, again, it's the fundamental structure of this high wave. We do have a little bit of a trap, right? So we have a bear trap on the weekly to some extent. Obviously, if someone was looking to go short, they're probably going to continue down there. So I don't know. I still think overall bearish in the market, but short term, I'm still leaning a little bit just because I think before the next breakdown comes, I think we have to get some kind of a balance. This is again weekly chart. This is big bearish engulfing candle, another follow, 3 weeks of just straight selling, a little bit of an inside candle with some additional selling. So there's definitely pressure in the market, 100% pressure in the market. I'm going to follow the trends. I'll see what happens. I don't know if I believe this gap up. We've seen at least a lot recently. Anytime the market's gone up, it's been opportunities to sell, to buy more puts. I do have some calls. I have the long-term portfolio. I'm not selling anything in the long term. I'm not freaking out in this market. It's fine. It's an opportunity to get into something longer. We do have that trap. We have a little bit of a downtrend we've been kind of fighting with. So could we actually see some kind of balance? I think more than likely, again, I think we just hang out here in these weekly candles. So we'll see if we can get above that 364 and change zone. That would be interesting at least. Let's go into the daily chart. Let's get some of those fibs. VPOCs up on the screen as well. Again, big bullish engulfing candle. Pretty odd and strange day that we had on that one. The next day, Friday, we did gap up higher. Again, another opportunity to sell. That got us right into roughly about a 50% retrace of that big bullish candle. So I know if anybody's taking some of the real life trading classes, we do have Jeremy did go through looking for the retest and try to get a 50% retrace of a big bullish candle. We have it. It's there. Again, do I trust it? I don't know. If we start breaking out higher, I'm going to go with the trend. We'll see what happens. For right now, we are above Friday's VPOC. We are above Thursday's VPOC. We do have in here. Actually, no, Thursday's VPOC is up here. This is Wednesdays. So we're up above Wednesday, looks like Tuesday, and it looks like Friday. Thursday, we're kind of still trapped underneath, and we're going to need a break as that. The longer we hang out here, the worse it will get for the markets eventually, just because now we're going to allow all of those moving averages to start catching up, pushing down on us, adding more pressure. But they are still very far away. For the most part, extremely far away. And again, I'm just kind of expecting a little bit of chop more than anything. Probably get some people taking profits. I don't know how excited anybody's looking at this market and just saying, yeah, definitely want to get in bullish now. Now is the time. I think more people, more than not, are looking for, yeah, we probably have a much bigger sell-off eventually down the road. So it's going to be a long journey. I think it's going to be a long journey, but interesting high wave to say the least from last week. The Qs, we are getting a little bit of a gap up on the Qs as well. Kind of a tight trading range. I think the Thursday VPOC is still at the high of the day as well. Yep, so that was up there. So we're still below Thursdays, above Fridays. And again, I think this is probably a little bit range bound. Usually on the range bound days, what I typically, and 10 EMA is a little bit different because we have to kind of wait for the breakouts. But realistically, if we are able to short high, I know it sounds repetitive, but buy low. If things are dipping, try to play the shorter moves up, kind of stick in that range bound until we see it break one way or the other. Jose says Bank of America came out pretty good. Yep. So BAC came out fairly well. Let me just flip this to the watch list that I usually watch. BAC did have earnings. They were actually relatively good. I think JP Morgan was the only one that was a little bit. I'd be worried a little bit about Goldman Sachs earnings when they come out too, but otherwise, Bank of America did come out. They did beat. We are getting a decent looking gap. It is a gap and go. We do have a little bit of resistance that we're into now, but otherwise, probably looking for maybe about 33.98 would be a target. So again, are we out of the woods yet? Because Bank of America says they did good. No, they are down quite a decent amount, though. It is good to see. We're going to get through. We are in earnings season now, so we are starting to see a lot of those earnings come in. And again, the earnings are one thing. The forecast that they put out is another. And I think Jamie Dimon, again, I think he said we probably have about 20% more. I think he's being a little conservative, to be honest. I think we get a little bit more of a dip than 20% in the overall broader markets, but we do have that gap and go. So if you guys are looking to play something, just because we're into that resistance, I would see if we could get that fade first. Give me a couple bearish candles, and then maybe we could attempt to look something bullish on it because we do have that gap and go. But the gap and go too, I mean, there was a lot of apparently either buying or people not shorting as heavy, right? So they're either closing out some of the shorts on this day. We had a little bit of a reversal hammer, so there was some selling pressure, at least at a portion of the day. So maybe we are trapping some people. I don't know how many people are overall trapped though. So we'll have to see how that one plays out. Matt says Roblox. Is Roblox doing something good? I didn't hear any news on Roblox today. Yeah. Did they have any type of news that came out? They're getting a decent gap as well. Above a whole bunch of pivots. Into again a little bit of resistance. It looks like it's a gap, but not really. I mean, we did get filled, but somewhere in this range, 45.19, that would be an untested VPOC in a worst case. Otherwise, even if we got back into 43.48, that would be a retest of that initial pretty much breakdown for Roblox. And Roblox has been trading weird. It's been holding up though. So there is some news. Roblox shares are trading higher after the company reported September 2022 key metrics. Daily active users were 57.8 million. All right, so you get some active users up 23% year over year. All right, so fundamentally growing a little bit. If you guys like Roblox for the long term, you're probably not at a horrible price. I mean, again, it is kind of beaten up to say the least, but I think it's probably a little bit closer to fair valuation. I'll have to dig deeper into see where I think, but if this holds up, Just pattern wise, we are looking at some kind of potential inverse head and shoulders. So if anybody's unfamiliar with that, we have the left shoulder right here. We have the head down here. We have the right shoulder. This would be some kind of a neckline that we'd have to break through. So could we get a double top, pulls back, does something like this potentially? I don't hate Roblox. I don't mind Roblox. I think that they're very interestingly enough positioned in case the metaverse does do anything. But we'll see. Delta, interesting. Oh no, that gap changed a lot real quick. I thought we were up there pretty high on Delta, but Delta is gapping. It is technically a gap and go as well. Again, into some resistance, but it does look interesting. We do have a nice gap and go. It held up. For all things considered, it has held up decent on Friday, even though you have a red candle. It was still a positive day on Friday where most things did get some selling. What's up, Hector? We got Hector in the house. Good morning. So we do have that gap and go. We are making some kind of this is now 1-2, even though it's red. Technically, it's still a positive day. Could this one pull back a little bit first and then maybe look to continue breakout on a wave count basis? We are looking at that's sloppy. It's sloppy, but maybe this is probably the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. We're in a little bit of a wave 3 now. Get some kind of a pullback next couple days. Look for one leg higher, and then plummets to eternal the burning pits of never mind. But maybe or it continues again. If we're looking at it, which is probably the most incorrect way to look at charts, which would be, well, the price was higher, so maybe that makes this a good valuation. Just because a price was higher at some point doesn't mean that the company is ready to buy. Just because it's lower, tend to stick with some kind of valuation. We are in a longer term downtrend on Delta, and even if we see a pop, probably next spot is going to take us to about 37.19. Would be a little bit of a bigger target. We do have some pockets of liquidity. We are getting above those pockets of liquidity, even on a, I guess, day trade basis too. We'd be able to establish some type of move to about 35. So watch that. I will be watching for a little bit of strength in Delta. And if we could take an official trade based off the 10 EMA on that one, we could definitely consider that one for sure, because it does have a little bit of strength, at least forming. All right, let's see. We've got Amazon. So Amazon's gapping up. It's holding some decent volume. If we're looking back at the daily chart, we should have some volume coming in to hold us up somewhere around this 108.77. The immediate next target would take us to probably about this 112. So we do have about $3 of upside just using a little bit of pocket of liquidity. We're not getting as crazy of a good gap like Delta, which is a gap and go. This one is still sitting inside their range. So I do see it maybe a little bit of upside. We even said where that pocket of liquidity was, somewhere around that 112. That would take us to at least a high of Friday. We'll see. Probably just dance around a little bit on Amazon. Not seeing anything too crazy, at least out of the gate on Amazon. But you do have a little bit of upside to it. And Apple also inside day candle. So not expecting crazy fireworks on this one yet, but we did come down. We have retested longer term, at least VPOC area. So that's interesting. We would be gapping up above 1, 2. Is a lot of things are going to look like this because we're moving at the market. We actually have, I believe on Friday, sitting somewhere around this 142.64. That would be a very big VPOC that we'd have to break. But otherwise, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 VPOCs from where we're opening, almost 7. So about 6 VPOCs that we are jumping out above. So we are building a little bit of support, oddly enough. Again, inside day might not get too much of a range. A lot of times, again, on inside days, if you're going to try to play it, try to, again, just buy as low as possible, sell as high as possible, as it might be a little bit range bound until it proves itself different. So we will see. We got NVIDIA. Inside day still looks a little bit more on the weaker side than some of the other ones. Thomas Wong says, did I look at Boeing? Not yet, but we will definitely get to Boeing. I think Boeing was gapping. I did look at it pre-market. I think it was like $2-3 jump, something like that, but not the actual candles. So we will take a look at that one. NVIDIA does still look like it's a little bit on the weak side. We do have slight gap up from yesterday's close, but relatively speaking, still in the bottom third range of Friday. Not really getting too much wind beneath his wings on this one. Not yet, at least. I think something like NVIDIA is going to have some kind of major catalyst to really shake this downtrend that we're in, because it's a untouchable stock for the most part. I was doing valuations on this one. I think we could probably get to about $60 to $75 on NVIDIA. Would be a very interesting price. We'll see. But 10 EMA can't really do too much on that one. At least out of the gate, we might have to be forced to wait a little bit. We've got AMD still. Again, the chips are still looking weak. Still looking weak. We are sitting right above yesterday's VPOC. So again, on a just pure risk to reward standpoint, providing that VPOC holds, which is what I'd be going for. Let's even go into a 30-minute chart. Let's try to get some of that range. I mean, honestly, put a stop at 55.81. Try to get in close to 56.80. Let's go 81. We'll give ourselves an exact dollar. And if it holds that range and we do get some bouncing, I mean, the next VPOC higher, 59, might be a decent trade. It gives us pretty much 2-to-1 risk reward. But again, technically inside day, it does not look strong. We're gapping up above a interesting, at least, resistance that we put in on Friday. Obviously, the first candle of the day is always usually the highest volume, but that was a pure sell, no wick, no nothing. And this could still be facing a little bit of trouble somewhere around the 57, 55, but maybe decent spot for risk to reward. Maybe this is some kind of almost double bottom. We do have a high wave. This could technically be a retest into that high wave, right? When that high wave came in, then we started to run a little bit. So I don't want to count it out, but it is inside. So we're going to have to take that one slow. LFG. All right. Take a look at Tesla first, and then we'll take a look at Boeing and LFG. We got a lot of high volume coming in on Tesla toward the end of the day on Friday. That might trap some people, give us a little bit of a bullish catalyst on Tesla. Again, inside day, so we're not going to be able to 10 EMA it for a little bit. We are breaking through. Again, we had a little bit of resistance. This really on Thursday, at least, there was nothing, no volume whatsoever. So this would have the ability to push probably at least to 212. Watch that spot, see if we could break. And then we're probably looking for maybe about 216. If it could grow some legs and start to run, at least charge the batteries a little bit. This could, again, be a little bit of a double bottom. Good volume came in for the last pretty much hour on Tesla, just ramping this thing downwards. And now we are probably trapping in some of those shorts. So I would be leaning a little bit more bullish and bearish on Tesla as well. Let's see LFG. Always interesting when we don't see the pre-market. There it is. Woo, that is a good gap. Energy company trading higher. Oh yeah, there was some kind of either partnership or okay, they're being bought out by BP. Yep. For approximately $4.1 billion. Pretty major gap on this one. I don't know how this one's gonna. This is gonna be a very wide gap, very wide gap to try to attempt to play. But that's a very interesting place. We almost had some kind of. We kind of did have some kind of head and shoulders. People were starting to get a little bearish on it. Maybe this one runs a little bit more, depending on what that price that they're buying it for. I would be looking for that. Probably a little short of that as my target if you are going to play this one. But again, massive gap. You might have some people wanting to take some profits, especially in this kind of market. They're waking up legitimately with more money than they had in their pocket yesterday or Friday or historical ever on this company. So you probably do see a little bit of a fade pullback. I would be looking more for a fade on this one than just to buy randomly at open, let people take their profits. If you do want to get in long, I would probably wait at least for some kind of dip on that one. Or if you're going to play it, I'd probably lean a little bit more to the bear side. Just try to take advantage of people just wanted to take some kind of profit on it. We have Boeing. So Boeing does have a decent gap up. Let's just look for some VPOCs real quick. Make sure the targets make sense. We're not gapping into anything too crazy. Decent double bottom on Boeing, at least a little bit on the longer term basis. We've come down. We have one more. We do have one more VPOC that was not really ever tested. I would kind of want that. That's somewhere at the 115 range. That would be interesting. We are making currently though higher lows. It looks a little bit like Delta, no? A little bit like Delta. The next target on this one to the higher side would be about 139.03. So we do have some room to the upside. If we are able to somehow break out of that, next target somewhere around 141, and then probably about 143, it hits a little bit of a stronger resistance. So it has some room. You do have this gap we're now getting into this gap, and that would again takes us to immediate next target somewhere around that 139.13. So I'd be looking for something like that. This is also a gap and go. We might have some people trapped in the short direction on this one. So we have a couple of interesting gaps. Let me move Boeing a little bit higher on my watch list, and let me add LFG as well. Jose says, "Good morning, DJ. Missed you last week. I was here. Where were you, Jose? I showed up. But the important thing is you are here now. Let's go, baby. LFG. Let me just add this one to my list. You were gone. Gotcha. All right. Back in the house. Getting ready we got 8 more minutes. If there's any other tickers, you guys in YouTube land, if you guys have any tickers as well, you guys are more than welcome to post that in the chat. Jay wants to look at Fox. FOX. Oh, wow, that does look different. Was this earnings or did it have some news too? Oh, they want to do a stock split. Wants News Corp to split media, real estate units, sources. They do look different. Yep. And not only that, we look at these candles a lot, right? From the one that came in on Thursday and pretty much across the board, we're like, yeah, if that one breaks, it's not looking good. We are opening below that. So this does look like a very interesting short. If you did want to play it, I'd probably be, maybe we get a little bit of, we had some shorts going into this for the last, since August 16th, realistically. Maybe we get a couple of those shorts to take their profit, especially the ones that we gapped down here. They didn't close out any positions, seeing if it goes lower. Didn't get that opportunity. So, yeah, if we get a nice, interesting green candle on that one, I don't mind it for sure. Microsoft, MSFT. Looks a little similar to some of the other companies. For right now, a little range bounds. I'm watching this very closely though. So again, this could even be a case for a 3-bar play almost on Microsoft, right? We have some kind of candle. It's not really a breakout candle, but we do have that higher volume, massive, hardly any wick at the top. This is some kind of a retest. If I was to set a trade, I'd probably be looking for some kind of breakout, maybe 237.55, and looking for stop right underneath that previous candle. See if we get triggered in. It is definitely lower on the system. I don't think Microsoft goes out of business. Actually, they probably still have some, in a weird way, even being as massive as they are, they probably do still have some upside to growth as a company. So, and if the market looks weak, obviously this thing will probably get banged up with it, but just not to the same extent that some other companies that don't make money, that are a little bit more speculation plays, would have some issues having some times getting to that. But yeah, we could potentially break out. We had some decent volume come in on Friday as well. Again, it got pushed down with the rest of the market. We could be retesting about Again, almost 50%, maybe slightly under 50%. We've retested some of those VPOCs, and maybe we can get finally some kind of leg higher in this market. It is going to be pushing into some major resistance over here, though. So number one, we have the open from Friday, which we have to get above, and people might be looking to take some profits there. Otherwise, we do have these two VWAPs over here that somewhere around this 235.78 range. So I would like to see it break pretty much Friday to go bullish, because that would be a decent, interesting looking setup. There is a gap up above too that did not get filled. That would take us to about 248. So it gives us solid $14 to the upside. And that's not saying that we're going on some kind of amazing bullish run by any stretch of the imagination, but that would just be kind of closing out that what appears to be some kind of island reversal in there. Who knows if that closes or what time. JP Morgan. Tarian says LFG and not the stock. Let's go, baby. Let's do it. JP Morgan. So they did have earnings, which they missed on. I believe it was a miss. Let me just double check. No, they beat to the upside. Okay. For some reason, I don't know why I thought they missed on earnings. Maybe it was just the forecast. So maybe they beat and then the forecast was weak, something like that. Well, we did get a lot of selling pressure somewhere of this 115.22. I do like JP Morgan though as a company. I think they should be strong enough. I would assume if JP Morgan goes on there, I think we have a whole lot of issues. Does that mean that 114 is the best price for a long-term investment? Probably not. Probably we could continue to see some sell-off. But again, this is a little bit of a reversal hammer. We're not quite out of the woods yet. If this thing gaps up or somehow in the next 3 minutes, we could get somewhere above this 115.39, that could be a little bit interesting. The only thing, again, we're going to hit some resistance. So I don't see anything that's going to be a clear-cut home run, just wide open field today yet. But, and again, even though this is a red candle, this is still a positive day. Keep that in mind too. So this is now 1, 2, 3, I would say 3 bullish days in a row, realistically. Even though we got some selling, we are right into an area that had some resistance. Pre-market is hot. Well, let's try to keep this PG. Let's try to keep this PG. We got a Microsoft pop as well, just came in. MSFT. Yeah, it's kind of trying to push. We are very close to beating out the open of Friday. That would be very interesting. We will see. That's what I'm going to be watching for a lot of these stocks, since they do look the same. If they do work up a little bit of strength to start breaking out of the Friday open where we just kind of gave back all the profits, that's going to tell me that this is kind of a retest, and we might be able to get some kind of strength to push forward. But for you guys in YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. Make sure if you guys have not subscribed, you do that as well. This way, you will be the first to know as soon as we have any content that we put out pretty much daily for you guys. You'll be able to stay in real time with the markets with us. You guys can also join us, trade with us all day long with All Access Pass. That can be found right on reallifetrading.com. We do have all free education, beginner, intermediate, and advanced classes you guys are more than willing to take. It's a freemium. It costs you nothing except your time. That is about it. That's all we ask from you. But make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. Unfortunately, at this time, I do have to disconnect from YouTube. You guys are incredible. We will catch you guys